Hey, it's Hopes here with the video guide for the heroic bounty Kresh, Lord of Turtling. This bounty actually unlocks both Bane's third equipment, Chieftain's Feather, and Brand's third equipment, Extra Spirit. For this bounty, I completed it two ways. The first one being Fire, which is a stereotypical way to just complete most bounties, using Geddon with Mark of Conflagration, Belinda with Lesser Water Elemental, Ragnaros with Blazing Rune, and Chiji with Blazing Band. We're using Geddon, Belinda, and Ragnaros to get up to the boss, and we are also using those three to actually finish off the boss, and Chiji replaces whatever mercenary just gets hard focused down. Though the footage that I'm going to show you, he just explodes his entire board. I don't know why he did that, but it is what it is. I did complete this when he didn't do something like that, using this exact same build, so it is possible even if he doesn't decide to nuke the entire board. And the other way, which is going to be a big shock to a lot of people, is using a lot of new mercenaries. Pirates. Pirates is actually really good for clearing out a lot of these bounties if you have access to Patches using Armed Locker, Edwin using Black Flag, Hook Tusk using Jolly Roger, and Mr. Smite using Sharpen Scabbard. This allows you to scale Mr. Smite to absurd levels pretty easily between Mr. Smite's ability and Patches' equipment and his first two abilities. To get up to the boss, I'm mainly using Patches, Edwin, and Hook Tusk, but if Hook Tusk or Patches actually die, we bring in Mr. Smite, or if there is a bunch of fighters on the opposite side, then Mr. Smite will come in over Hook Tusk. Though, because Hook Tusk's first ability can actually swap a fighter for a caster on your opponent's side, you are most of the time actually just safe even if there are a bunch of fighters on your opponent's side of the board. And honestly, this build did a lot better than I actually expected. I think in the reclip I'm using two other mercenaries, but they never came off the bench instead of Bane and Bran, but it's cool to actually see this, as I did actually use this for this bounty and a few others that will be coming out in the future, and some of the ones that I've prepped for the Yasharaj event. So let's look at how I did this with Fire first, and then we'll look at how I did this with Pirates. Alright, for Fire, we're just going to be putting down Geddon, Belinda, and Ragnaros, and focusing down one of the casters instead of Kresh itself, at least early on. Sadly here, though, the equipment for Belinda does nothing because we can't actually freeze them. I guess we did decide to go after Kresh instead of the other two, but it's still fine. Doesn't really matter what order you go. And if I remember right, this is where they're just going to nuke their entire board and our entire board. But at the same time, it doesn't matter too much because we do have Chiji as a way to just do basically all the damage that is left over and serve as a healer for the other two mercenaries. Going to heal up a little bit here, use Inferno, Cleave's going to kill nothing here, and then we're just going to keep going back and forth like this. If I remember right, the other two mercenaries eventually come in, but that doesn't really matter because Chiji is just going to out-heal any damage that they can actually possibly do. All right, time for pirates. Basically for this, you're looking for things like hostile treasures that actually turn everything here into pirates, or ways to actually buff up your pirates, HP and attack. I know we are using Varian and Cookie within this kill. However, neither of them actually matter. I just didn't realize that's how I had it set up, since we actually won't even be bringing in either of them. Well, the first thing we're probably going to do is change Crush into a caster, which then will allow us to... Actually, I guess we can focus down one of the side ads instead, turning it into a caster, but Crush gets turned into a caster anyways, or Kresh. Perfectly fine. We are cursed here, so we are going to take damage whenever we do use his first ability, but that's perfectly fine too. I'm going to use his first ability again. Then we're going to use Shiver Them Timbers, and then Assisted Strike, just to minimize the amount of damage that he is actually going to take and increase the scaling of him a little bit more. This should allow us to finish off Fresh in this turn or the next one. We do lose Patches here, which kind of sucks, but we do have the Mr. Smite to come in, and then we can just use whatever we want here. Using his last ability, we can use Shiver Them Timbers again, and then we're going to just attack into one. This should finish off this one, and then we just have to deal with one more. Using his second ability, use Shiver Them Timbers or Turnabout Strike again. And then we're just going to use Overboard, as I do think they have Cleave on that, so we should instantly be able to just nuke it out of existence and win right here. Alright, I hope this bounty guide was helpful for you, and if it was, there are more to come. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.